Welcome to today's news wrap up. Let's dive right into the top stories making headlines today. A federal judge has refused to dismiss the corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams and ordered an investigation into why the Trump administration's DOJ dropped the charges. This is unheard of. U.S. District Judge Dale Ho, appointed by President Biden, will appoint outside counsel to examine the DOJ's decision. I've never heard of this ever happening before. This is unprecedented. This move follows internal disputes with the DOJ, which led to several resignations. Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove instructed prosecutors to drop the charges against Adams, leading to a confrontation with the remaining lawyers. The DOJ has officially moved to dismiss Adams' indictment, but Judge Ho's decision will delay the trial indefinitely while the investigation proceeds. Attorney General Pam Bondi is actively reviewing documents related to Jeffrey Epstein, JFK, and Martin Luther King Jr. following a directive from President Trump. Bondi confirmed these documents are currently on her desk for review and emphasized the administration's commitment to transparency. The review process is part of a larger effort to declassify sensitive information with the aim of providing the American public with greater insight into historically significant events. My question is, why is Epstein's list classified, right, in the first place? The newly established task force on the declassification of federal secrets, led by Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, will oversee the declassification of key documents, including those related to 9/11, the Epstein network, and unexplained aerial phenomena. The task force is scheduled to hold its first hearing on March 26, focusing on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Again, why is the Epstein stuff classified in the first place? That has to let us know that there is some people within our government that was part of this Epstein stuff. U.S. CEO confidence has surged in the first quarter of 2025, reaching its highest level in 3 years, according to a survey by the conference board. The measure of CEO confidence rose to 60, indicating a shift from cautious to confident optimism among American CEOs. This increase is attributed to improved economic conditions and future outlooks, with more CEOs planning to boost investments. Concerns about various business risks, including regulatory uncertainty and supply chain disruptions, have eased, thanks to Donald Trump, right? Despite the optimism, challenges remain such as hiring qualified workers and managing the impact of tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio revealed that President Trump is personally very upset with Ukrainian President Zelensky over discussions about access to Ukraine's mineral wealth. Rubio explained that Zelensky initially expressed openness to a joint venture, but later publicly rejected the deal, which contradicted their private meeting. Rubio criticized Zelensky's actions, emphasizing that the U.S. is trying to help Ukraine and expects some gratitude. He stressed the importance of testing Russia's seriousness about ending the war and highlighted the need for negotiations with the nation possessing significant nuclear capabilities. The State Department confirmed that high-level teams from both the U.S. and Russia are working on a path to end the conflict in Ukraine. I have to say that I was no fan of Mark Rubio at first. I was very, very skeptical of Mark Rubio as Secretary of State. But so far, I'm liking him. I'm liking what he's doing so far, I have to admit. President Trump has threatened to withhold federal funding from Maine after Governor Janet Mills defied his executive order banning transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. The confrontation took place during a meeting with governors where Mills declared her intention to follow the law and take the issue to court. Trump welcomed the challenge, predicting an easy victory and warning Mills about her political futures. Mills and Maine's Attorney General have pledged to protect the state's laws and fight against the president's threats, emphasizing the importance of legal action to secure federal funding for Maine's schools. I mean, that's the hill you want to die on? Having men in women's sports, that's the hill they want to die on? Ridiculous. One of Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers, Anthony Rico, has withdrawn from his defense team amid several civil lawsuits and a federal sexual abuse and racketeering case. Rico filed a motion to withdraw in New York federal court, citing attorney-client privilege for the reason behind his decision. Holmes faces accusations of drugging and rape and is pleading not guilty to sex trafficking charges under the Mann Act, which the defense argues has historically targeted black men. Despite these challenges, Combs' lawyers maintain that the charges are misplaced and reflect selective enforcement. Senator John Fetterman is experiencing significant staff turnover as more of his top aides resign. Recently, his deputy chief of staff, Trey Easton, and communications director, Charlie Hills, left his office following several other departures in recent months. Fetterman's frequent alignment with Republican positions on issues, common sense issues, such as Israel and immigration, has caused friction within his own party. Despite these challenges, Fetterman continues to push his bipartisan policies, including co-sponsoring the Republican-backed Lincoln-Riley Act. His independent stance have left many Democrats puzzled, but Fetterman remains steadfast in his commitment to his beliefs. Elon Musk has criticized Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, accusing him of running a fraudulent system that exploits the deaths of Ukrainian soldiers. Musk supports President Trump's frustration with Zelensky for not holding a general election, which was part of the negotiations to end the war. Musk claimed that Zelensky avoids elections because he fears losing by a large margin. That's exactly what it is. The guy running against him have overwhelming support. He challenged Zelensky to hold an election and prove otherwise, aligning with Trump's efforts to find a peaceful resolution independent of what Musk described as a corrupt system. I mean, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. We've been talking about it way before the war started. LA Mayor Karen Bass fired Fire Chief Kristen Crowley for failing to pre-deploy firefighters ahead of the Palisades fire and refusing to allow an investigation. I mean, I can't say that I didn't see this happening. She has to, no way possible Karen Bass would take blame for what happened, even though she was all the way in Africa and took her a while to come back to the fires. But Bass mentioned that 1,000 firefighters were sent home instead of being on duty during the fire. Crowley attributed the struggle to contain the fire to budget cuts, of course, with $20 million slashed from the city's fire budget by Bass. That's the real reason why Bass fired her, is because she called her out on, and rightfully so, called her Crowley rightfully so called out Bass for those cuts. Developer Rick Caruso criticized Bass, defending Crowley for highlighting budget issues. Bass has appointed retired Chief Deputy Ronnie Villanueva, however you pronounce his name, as interim head of the fire department while a national search for a replacement begins. Lastly, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum has proposed constitutional changes to prevent foreign law enforcement agencies from investigating or taking action within Mexico without permission. She is, if y'all don't believe she's part of the problem, then I don't know what to tell you. She is the reason why the cartel is as bad as it is. This is to protect the cartels. These changes aim to protect Mexican sovereignty, she says, and impose strict penalties on those involved in violations. The move follows the U.S. designating 6 Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and promising to eradicate them. Again, she's protecting the cartels. I don't care what you say. Critics argue Seinbaum's efforts appear to shield drug cartels from U.S. intervention, which I was just alluding to. The proposed amendments would also criminalize any foreign action that compromised Mexico's sovereignty, integrity, and independence. So we're definitely going to follow and see how this plays out. But that's all for today's news wrap up. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.